5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Weekend confirmed.
Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff.
Skyrim. Surprise!
Surprise! Skyrim. I was gonna write that. My surprise game is Skyrim.
I miss Skyrim, by the way. I didn't play it all this last
I haven't
week.
played all this.
I only got
last
to play a
week.
little bit. I only wanted to mention that one story where the dragon ruined my wedding.
That
thing.
sounds like a fun story.
That's funny.
So
My fake wedding.
theoretically, what I planned out was that we'd start off by talking about how now the release list has gotten past us. It's time to start catching up on things. I immediately went to Uncharted 3 because I'm working through stuff for Game of the Year's nominations.
That's a great place where this fits.
talk about Uncharted 3. I want to talk some, like, as soon as I did that post about that, Amy Hennig sent me, we had this really long direct message back and forth about narrative and guided versus control, and so I wanted to start talking about that, chase sequences, hand-to-hand fighting. Like, I think Uncharted 3 is really kind of uneven.
You're not alone.
And so I know it's kind of late, but I kind of like to talk about that. And then Shadow 13th had an interesting comment on our Shack thread about Skyrim's storytelling. And so I thought we'd kind of wrap up on storytelling and we keep that the first round. And then
Well, I'd love to jam that in there. Maybe.
then why don't we go into it in the second round?
Okay. Sure.
And then I wanted to, does it fit with the idea of whether you play a game properly or not?
What?
It can.
I don't know where. I don't like where that's going at all.
Why?
According to who is the question?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask. I mean,
Okay.
I thought that was a really interesting Twitter question I got. Was like, can you play a game wrong? And I think that's kind of a strange question, but I think it illustrates a mindset that we as gamers often get into of
Is
in
your
like
controller plugged in?
right. But it also even goes back to like griefing. Is griefing playing the game wrong? Is it good or bad? It's an interesting subject. So I thought we'd do that, and then from there we need to do the Mario stuff. You guys obviously Mario Karting it up.
Yeah, man.
I haven't gotten to 3D yet, but we
Mario
certainly should
3D.
hit Mario Kart.
I've been playing more 3D Land much more than Kart.
I haven't played card. I haven't played 3.
So
Either way, either one.
you guys both have Kart, so you should talk about Kart, and then you can talk some about 3D. I have 3D Land at home. I want to play it. I just have not gotten to it yet.
I love that you made me give it to you. It's sitting on your shelf.
So
Lot to play.
So
Lot to
then
play.
we'll get into the third block. Marty, on one of the threads he threw out there was
Marty.
he brought back this question of we getting exhausted or oversaturated with DLC, which is always we haven't talked about that in a while, but there's a lot of these games that are going to have great DLC. Skyrim's going to be a big one. Obviously, going to be a ton of DLC for that. There's DLC for Batman.
Yeah.
There's the big pack for Gears of War. We're about to get Ram's Shadow for Gears. So,
Yeah,
are we
excited
more
about
interested in extending games, or do we want to keep seeing new games? And then it was also interesting for me because Ariel and I finished Borderlands co-op, which we loved, and we're so in love with it that we were like immediately went to like Claptrap's new robot. We went to Claptrap's because she really liked Claptrap because he's
Look at me, I'm dancing. I'm dancing.
right, it's Claptrap. He's adorable. After that, a couple quick questions about the other quick question I had in here. Then talk about Mass Effect because instead of DLC, they're taking the Citadel mission that was planned for 2 and making it into 3, which I thought was an interesting decision. Not that I'm upset about coming back to Citadel, because I would hate to finish the game without seeing the Citadel again, but interesting decision to do that way. Fumito Ueda and Last Guardian talk. And then in the final will be Slush Time to pick up all the stuff that we haven't gotten to yet, which will be a lot probably. Skyrim patch 1.2, GamePro closing its doors. I thought we'd do right before we got
More
to
games.
and then finishing moves, and then finally we get to football, where Dave Del Rio
Yeah.
maybe has moved ahead of you.
He did it.
He
really did it.
Which is ironic because you're winning in our Pick'em League.
Yeah, well.
You're having a great season.
How come you guys haven't put my score here? Oh, you did.
You are there.
I don't know why. I picked based on color,
You did well.
and I'm doing about as well as Jeff Cannata.
Damn it.
You decided. You're like, here's
Damn
some.
you, color.
So you can start thinking about what you're going to pick on this week. We're doing. And I was careful because I avoided matchups that either looked like weak matchups or matchups that had crazy injury ramifications.
Yeah.
So I did the Titans at the Bills. I did the Panthers at the Bucks, and the Packers at the Giants.
Did you see that that New England is favored by 21 against
That's
Indianapolis?
crazy.
Yeah.
Nuts.
It's because keep in mind the line is money, and it's
Yeah.
because the money's pouring in because basically everyone sees. And Indy is switching quarterbacks this week.
Is it to Peyton Manning? Because that would help.
No.
No one's
they're
ever
bringing
covered
in,
that
they're
much
bringing their
before,
rookie
I don't
guy.
think.
They're putting,
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
sitting Painter and who is I can't remember this guy's name, but they're like, and the coach was like, well, we just basically talked about how we don't want him to go out there and really get in a lot of trouble and throw a lot of interceptions and get us in a completely unwinnable situation.
I think, I think honestly, Peyton Manning should get MVP this year.
Yeah.
I think he
thought
should
about
win
that.
the MVP.
Just
He's
for-
proven that he's the most valuable player on any team.
It's true.
It's like,
Seriously,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can make a serious argument for that.
I'm not going to argue with
He's
you.
valuable. We lost him.
Never has a team fallen off the cliff
I
like
know,
that.
one guy.
It's absurd.
One
Well, he's the
guy.
head. He's like losing your head coach and your quarterback.
He really.
That's
I mean,
true.
It's just been nuts. It's just been nuts.
It keeps me up at night, guys.
Yeah. What do you think, Xav?
What's happening in the hockey world? Anything exciting in the hockey world?
Toronto and Boston are fighting for first place, and Boston's winning right now.
When's the Super Ice?
Super.
It's January.
super.
I think it's January 2nd. It's in New York. Is it in New York or Philadelphia? I think it's in Philadelphia. It's New York versus
That's when the
Philadelphia.
standing.
10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Weekend confirmed.
Ignition. Liftoff.